So it's been about 30 days since I launched my second online course, and as I look at my computer right now, just like the previous online course I launched, my second online course is now doing about $40,000 in sales every single month. And that's why in this video, I want to give you guys my top 5 tips for actually creating and launching an online course or online business, and how to go from just having an idea and filming videos in maybe a small studio or in your room like I did, to actually putting them on the internet and then marketing them online. So with that said, I'm gonna give you guys my top 5 tips for doing that. Right now, I actually have to go over to my friend Philippe's place to work on a different business project that I'll slightly mention inside of this video. But with that said, I actually have to head over to his place right now, so I'll catch you guys over there. All right, guys, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but in Bali, we really do it luxury style only. So I have the rented Lamborghini, Philippe has the Ferrari, Fika has the Rolls Royce, the BMW, the Audi. We've got the whole lineup over here. But no, in all seriousness, these scooters cost me like 50 bucks a month, and I absolutely love it. So let's go downstairs, see what Philippe is up to. We've got the pup, Sachi, over here. So what's up, pup? This is the prince, the queen of the house. So she doesn't let any trespassers inside. Relax, Tate. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going, bro? This is my buddy Philippe. We've got Fika over here, the world's greatest assistant. Anyways, so for this video, I want to talk to you guys obviously about the 5 benefits and the 5 steps that I go through to launch an online course, but I also want to tell you guys a little bit about my personal story and how I got started with this whole online business thing. Because if you would have told me 4 years ago that I would be here in Bali making more money than both of my parents combined, doing something that I actually love to do, I would have called you crazy. Because 4 years ago, I was working as a valet attendant. I was living in a shitty, tiny little 1-bedroom apartment with my best friend that we were sharing and sleeping in the same bed together over in China, trying to like chase a dream of like traveling the world. And back then, I had no idea how any of this stuff was possible. And after 4 years of just staying consistent every single day, it has finally paid off. So hopefully this story kind of motivates people, because it was honestly because of a video very similar to the video that I'm making right now that I started this whole journey in the first place. All right, so I'm gonna keep this short because I do wanna jump straight to the good stuff, the stuff that you guys are actually here for. But I do think this story is gonna be a very good story for you guys to pay attention to and kind of understand the evolution that I went through in order to get to this point from being an employee to now self-employed. And when I think about this entire journey, it all comes back to one decision that I made, and that was the decision to drop out of college and go move to China with my best friend to go teach English. Because at that point in time, that was the only feasible option that we could think of in order to make money abroad. Now I'm able to live here in Bali and I have my own business that I run online. But back then, I had no idea any of this stuff even existed. So if you're watching this video, you were already miles ahead of where I was at 4 years ago. Because back then we thought the only possible way to do that was to go and actually get a job, a physical job at a physical location somewhere. And for us, the only option for that was teaching English in China. So we moved to China, and then from there, that's where I picked up my first camera. And after kind of like stepping beyond my comfort zone and going to China and really pushing my limits, because that was one of the hardest things I'd ever done in my life, I ended up getting into photography and I absolutely loved it. So after I got into the whole photography world, that's when I discovered YouTube, Instagram, all these like quote unquote influencers and people who are like traveling the world, and it completely blew my mind. So once I saw that, I realized I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however the hell I want to do it. So I decided to take photography very seriously because it did seem to me as a very viable option to actually travel and make money. So I spent about 6 or 8 months as I was teaching English in China, completely locking myself in my room, taking photography and videography very seriously, practicing every single day, just trying to improve my skill set. And after about 8 months, I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm looking at these people, they're making a full-time income. My work is somewhat similar, I wouldn't say it's as good as like a lot of the professionals out there, but I do think I can make money at this point. And after about 6 or 8 months of doing that, that's when I started to get better clients. I got clients that took me to Bali, Thailand, and then in Bali and Thailand, I met clients that took me to Australia. From Australia, I met more clients that ended up taking me to an artist tour through South America. And then after South America, I got taken to Hawaii. So it was an entire journey that was very exciting. But at the same time, I also realized that filmmaking and photography wasn't a very profitable business model. So during that time, I also started to study online business. And one of the first things I picked up was e-commerce. So as I was traveling, I was dabbling in e-commerce. And when we went to Bali, I had a few friends that were doing very well in e-commerce. And when I saw the numbers, it just blew my mind. So right when I started traveling, I also started studying online business. And while the traveling and the photography helped me to do stuff that I wanted to do for a long time, I was also very passionate about maybe entering this business realm. So after dabbling in e-commerce a little bit, me and my friends found actually our first winning product. We started making a little bit of money. And that's when I started to have things just click a little bit more when it came to online business, because we had this product, we were selling it, and now I was able to travel, but also make money online. And I wasn't having to physically touch the product. We were drop shipping, and it was really mind-boggling to see how you can make money by just spending some time on the computer and building out a website and doing all the online stuff that I now do. So at that point, it really caused me to take that a lot more seriously as well. And at the same time, as I was learning e-commerce, I decided to try it with online presets. So I launched my first preset store online, and I think the first month I did about $60,000 in sales with Lightroom presets. And for me, that was absolutely life-changing. Like, I had never made that much money in a single month before. So once that had happened to me, that's when I completely realized that, okay, online business, this is the way that I need to go. I love creating photography and videography. I love creating the videos that I'm now creating with you guys here. But I decided to really dive a lot more into the business side of things. So after selling all those presets, I did that for about 3 or 4 or 5 months. And that's when I made my first online course. And the online course was for filmmakers and photographers, talking about how I got all these amazing clients, how I also sold products online, and pretty much my entire business model and how I was able to travel the world and make money and do everything that I was doing at that specific point in time. Boom, launched the online course, launched it for a really good price. I launched it for $97. And my goal with that course was just to provide so much value for such a low price that people would be absolutely mind blown when they got inside of it. And that's exactly what happened. I launched the course. I spent about 2 or 3 months just consistently filming videos every single day. And it was a very time consuming and tough process to go through to create my first online course. But after I launched it, I made another $30,000 my first month, $30,000 the next month, and the next month, and the next month, and the next month. And I realized that this business model of sharing knowledge of everything that I'd learned was something that was actually a lot of fun. I still got to create videos about the stuff that I'm passionate about. It's also very profitable, and a lot of people get to benefit from the information that I'm sharing. So after about 8 months of doing that, in the beginning, there were some problems. I would have, kind of like a roller coaster of profitable days, non-profitable days. And at that point, I had someone reach out to me. And thanks to my filmmaking and photography skills that I'd learned for several years before getting into online business, that was one of my advantages that I realized I could use when I started to get into the online business space, was creating really good ads, because no other business owner that had the skill set of creating videos like I did. So I took my ads seriously. And after running ads for about 2 or 3 months, I had someone reach out to me who runs a very large company also selling online courses that does about $10 million per year selling online courses. And they sent me an email and they said that my ad was one of the best ads they'd ever seen. And they also happen to live in Los Angeles. So they invited me over to their place. That guy's name is Jesse, absolutely amazing guy. And when I came over to his house, he showed me pretty much all the areas inside of my current process that weren't very efficient, how to improve it. And so for the next following months, we kind of like worked on my entire system, my entire process, since he had done this for about a decade at this point, and I was doing it for my first year. He showed me how to refine the entire process. So after about 4 months of doing that, I got my whole online business model to a very consistent number every single month. A lot of it was just, fixing areas that I wasn't paying attention to, things that I didn't think were important, but actually were really important. So then in late December of 2019 was when things were really consistent every single month. I was profitable, and this business model was something that just made a lot of sense to me. So I decided to move to Bali, come over here, and at the same time, I was reaching a lot of people online through my ads. A lot of people liked my ads, and they also wanted to know how I had built my online course. So after I had thousands of people ask me to create a topic about online business, I decided it was time to create a new course on the new business model that I was using, creating online courses, running my entire business online. And that's when I decided to create my second course. And it would also be a great test for me to see if everything I had learned over the past year or 2 years, selling, e-commerce products, selling presets, online courses, learning from, I guess, quote unquote, mentor Jesse, it was gonna be a test to see if everything I learned actually worked. And that was what I did this past month. I launched my new course, ironed everything out to the exact T, and I was like, okay, if I do this perfectly, I should be profitable from day one. I wanna make over $40,000 the very first month. That was my goal, and I'm happy to say that this first month I've hit over $40,000. I'm not sure the exact number. It might be somewhere between 42 and 45, but it's all thanks to this online business model. So it is honestly something that has really shifted my perspective on how to make money and how to, pursue the type of lifestyle that I want to live. I'm the type of person, I got in a lot of trouble when I was younger just because I couldn't listen to authority, and now I don't have to listen to authority. I get to be my own boss. I get to do what I want, and hopefully that's inspiring to some of you guys. Hopefully the tips I'm going to give you in this video will help set you on the right path to creating your online course, because you can literally create courses on anything. My friend Jesse was actually just creating an online course when I was working with him on online dating, on how to get more dates on Tinder. So, there's really, the possibilities are endless. As long as you have a particular skill set or knowledge in an area that other people need help in, you can create an online course on that. And that's why I love online courses, because the startup cost is so low. You don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars to start an online course business. You literally just need a camera, you need the knowledge that you already have, and access to internet, which pretty much everyone has. So with that said, let's hop into these 5 tips. All right, guys, the 5 stages to starting your online business. Now, the first one is very cliche, and I hate to say this, but it's true. You have to believe in yourself. And this is one of the things that, I hear people talk about all the time. I never took it too seriously, but if I think about myself even 4 years ago, was that I never stopped believing in myself. All the ideas I had, all the business things, I just knew that they were gonna happen, even when everyone else thought I was crazy. I had friends ask me why I was moving to China. I had my mom thinking I was crazy, locking myself up in my room, starting an online business. And I always had other people doubt me, but in my mind, I always knew that what my plan was gonna happen no matter what, because nobody else is gonna believe in you. So if you don't believe in yourself, it's gonna be really hard to make anything else happen, because that's the first step to this entire process. Now, the second step that you need to consider is finding a market and finding a need that people need to get solved. So one of the number one questions that I noticed when I was traveling was the same question that people kept asking me every single day on social media. And people were asking me, how do you travel and how do you make money while doing so? So obviously I got this question over and over again, and I used to text people and try and give them answers, but it was a very tedious and time-consuming thing to do, and it wasn't really helping people solve their problems. Now, years later, I think back at how that was such a big red flag that I could have taken more seriously and started making courses maybe earlier on. But it's the same topic that I'm now making courses on that I realized people were interested in. So it's all about identifying common questions that people ask you, because everyone has individual skill sets, and that was just the question that people asked me the most. So that was the first thing I made my course on, specifically for filmmakers and photographers, since I had been doing that for a few years. Now, the next thing that you have to consider, once you have the belief in yourself and once you have an idea of what product or market you want to service to, is you have to come up with a plan. Now, this is one of the number one things I do that drives me crazy when I talk to other people, is people don't write stuff down. I talk to people and I'm like, when was the last time you wrote down your goals? And most people have never written down their goals. And this is one of the first things I did when I first started building my online business was I would take a notebook, just like the one I have right here. And I actually still, every day, I write down my goals, and I would go sit at a park bench completely alone. I would leave my phone in the car, and I would sit there all by myself for maybe 4 hours. And it's a really boring thing to do. Like, it's not fun to sit alone with nothing else stimulating you. But what happens is when you take that time to sit there alone, you get to dig deeper into your brain and think about things that you haven't thought about before, because you're always being stimulated by social media, notifications popping up on your phone, your friends, your parents. There's so much going on, and you never really get the time to sit down and think about things. So it's really important when you're coming up with a plan to completely cut everything out, isolate yourself, and think about things and write them down. Because when you write things down, not only does it allow you to structure things out visually, but it allows you to keep your attention on the same topic for a longer period of time. You see, when you think about something, let's say a goal, after about 5 or 10 seconds, your brain is gonna start thinking about other things, and before you know it, you're thinking about bananas or something. But if you write stuff down, you get to look at what you just wrote down, and you can keep the same train of thought going on for 30 minutes or an hour until you have a really solid plan. So that's my third piece of advice, is write stuff down, make a solid plan for what you want to do. And my fourth piece of advice is to execute with excellence. So once you have your plan ready to go, it's time to start executing. A lot of people have problems making the first step, but then the other half have problems finishing the steps they made in the beginning. So you have to execute, but not only do you have to execute with excellence. And this is one of the biggest things I see most people do, is they try and do something and put minimal effort in. Doing things with excellence doesn't require any magical ability. It just requires you to spend more time investing in yourself and learning new skills. I think about all the skills that I have now, online marketing, photography, videography. I was terrible with everything when I first started, but I've always been relentlessly dedicated to working hard at getting better at the skills that I needed to learn in order to get to the next stage in life. And that's one of the biggest things that I've enjoyed about building my online business. Isn't necessarily the money, it's the personal growth and the changes that I've gone through, going from someone who really didn't know anything in life and was kind of like a victim to reality, to now building the reality that I kind of have always dreamed of. And that's only been possible because I've always been dedicated to working hard and doing things with excellence. And that's one of the #1 rules I have, is do things with excellence. Don't half-ass things, don't put in minimal effort. If you can't do it excellently, then don't do it at all. And like I said, I don't want that to scare people away. Everyone can do things excellently. It just requires you to learn skills and practice and get better so that you can do it with excellence. And when you do that, you're able to have a huge advantage over everyone else, because these days average is over. You can't do things and be average and expect to get results. You have to be above average to get results. And at the end of the day, the results I'm showing you, all the money that I've made online, that's a result. And the only reason I've been able to get that result is because I do things above average, and I always push myself to do so. So that's one of the last tips I have for you. And then of course, the fifth and final tip is to never give up, because I can't think about the countless times that I've started different e-commerce stores. I tried different tactics for getting clients as a freelancer, and then I started my first online business. So many times I failed. I went broke like 5 different times. The reason why none of that stuff has scared me away is because I kind of look at game like it's a game of Monopoly. I have myself, the character, at the beginning of the game, and then you have the end of the game. And at the end of the game is my dream life and all of the goals that I've written down for myself. Now, the only thing that's preventing me from reaching my goals is problem solving and finishing the game, right? Because the game could take hours, it could take weeks. I'm not sure how long the game is gonna take. All I know is that I'm gonna run into problems along the way. And in order for me to get to my goals, I'm gonna have to spend time on the game, and I'm gonna have to problem solve throughout the game. And as you finish, you're gonna start to get a red house, you're gonna start to get a green house, and you're gonna start to build up some winning streaks until you finish the game completely. Now, that's kind of like how I look at life, and that's how I kind of look at how the progress is that I've made. And I always make sure that whatever I'm doing every single day, it's getting me closer towards that goal. And I always make sure that I never give up, because sometimes, like in the game of Monopoly, you're gonna get thrown in jail. You're gonna get, 2 steps back for a step that you take forward, but it doesn't matter if you just stay on track and keep your goals in mind. So with that said, that's pretty much the end of this video. I hope you guys got some valuable insight and inspiration into how to actually start your online business and the steps that I've gone through to start my online business. And also, there's obviously a lot of hard skills and practical skills that you need to learn in order to start an online course or an online business. And that's things like marketing, advertising, getting your courses scripted, shot, edited, and the entire sales funnel process that I go through with my online courses. And that's the type of stuff that I teach in my courses. So obviously you guys are more than welcome to check out my business, my website, my online courses. I'll link all of that stuff down in the description below for those of you guys that want to take this a little bit more seriously. But other than that, again, I hope you guys just got some valuable insight out of this video, and hopefully it sets you on the right track again. So I'll see you guys in the next one.